Today, I'm joined by Mr. Leslie Smith, the Director of Energy uh, for Grenada. Leslie has been the center of Grenada's energy sector for over 23 years, working across policy planning and implementation to guide the country's transition towards a more resilient and sustainable energy system. In his role, he oversees the national energy strategy, regulatory development, and coordination with regional and international partners, balancing the realities of a small island state with the urgency of climate action and energy security. Leslie, it's great to have you here. To start us off, can you share a bit more about your journey into the energy sector and your role as Director of Energy, how it has evolved?
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Archibald. It's a pleasure to be on this set here. My journey is a very interesting one. I started as a high school teacher, science teacher, many years ago. And then, believe it or not, I entered into the petroleum marketing industry. I was actually working in one of the multilateral petroleum companies in Grenada for about 5 years, which is the complete opposite to what I do now. Subsequent to that, I was involved with climate and environment, handling the Montreal Protocol, but particularly looking at energy efficiency in the cooling sector. And to complete the circle now, about a year and a half ago, I was appointed Director of Renewable Energy, of which I currently serve. And as you mentioned in your introduction, this is a wide area that I'm positioning Grenada now to be a leader within the renewable energy space and also energy efficiency, and that entails quite a lot.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So, in your role right now, tell us what's going on in Grenada, right? How is Grenada preparing, or I shouldn't say preparing, but maybe advancing the energy climate agenda? What things are happening on the ground now in Grenada from your standpoint?
So in Grenada now, we basically are focusing on four principal areas in terms of our renewable energy agenda. First and foremost, we're looking at policy and legislation to make sure that we have robust and fit for purpose policies to drive the process. So we already have in plan our National Energy Policy 2023 to 2035, which is an update to the previous policy. We also have a National Sustainable Development Plan 2035. We also have what we call our Vision 75, which is a brainchild of the Honorable Prime Minister. And then we have a very advanced draft of our Energy Efficiency Act. We're pursuing our Integrated Resource and Resilience Plan. We have a National Adaptation Policy and a number of other things that we have done. And in addition to that, we're pursuing some other policy arrangements as well. A critical one that I must mention is our incentive mechanism for renewable energy penetration. So at the moment, we offer 100% concession on all renewable energy systems and components.
And electric vehicles?
And electric vehicles as well. And that has made a major shift in the penetration from 2022, when that was instituted, to 2025. The curve is very steep, and it is much more affordable and accessible for renewable energy interventions in Grenada. So that's on the policy side. A second area of focus is capacity development and training and workforce development, something I'm sure that you're very much interested in. And so we recognize that there's a huge skills gap and capacity gap between where we want to be and where we are now. So part of that focus is to develop officers within government, the private sector, or academic institutions to be able to adequately handle all that we want to do within the renewable energy and e-mobility space. So there's going to be training for solar PV installers, training for policy people, training for academic institutions, and even looking at with one of the agencies to set up a center of excellence for the development of renewable energy in Grenada. The third area of focus is with public awareness and education. We recognize that this is maybe one of the weakest area of our development, getting people to understand demand side management, energy efficiency, energy conservation, how to reduce on the consumption, especially now with the high cost for electricity in Grenada and the volatility of our energy sector. So public awareness and education is centered to that. And the final area, which is maybe one of the more important areas, is how we can increase the access to renewable energy. So our flagship program here is a program we call Solar for All that brings renewable energy to marginalized individuals and communities so that they can either eliminate electricity bills or reduce their electricity bills, and at the same time contribute towards our energy resilience and energy security. We are pursuing a number of initiatives in addition to that. So geothermal is a center as part of our baseload initiative. Penetration in solar PV with independent power producers and small-scale independent producers. And new self-generator regulation is on the cards as well. And we've seen tremendous improvements or increases in renewable energy penetration in Grenada over the last 3 years.
What do you see as the biggest gap between the policy mechanisms that you just mentioned and the goals and what's actually happening on the ground? Do you see a lot of people bringing in more EVs? Is there more of a demand for solar in Grenada? Like, how do you see that?
So the numbers are very, very encouraging. From 2022, when we instituted these fiscal measures, and if I look at it by sector, let's look at, first of all, the e-mobility sector. Whereas we had maybe a handful of electric vehicles in 2022, the numbers are increasing at approximately 300% year on year on. So in 2025, for example, the combination of hybrid vehicles and electric vehicles surpassed the ICE vehicles. So we had, in July of this year, 51% of our vehicle imports were a combination of hybrids and electric vehicles. Electric vehicles occupy 4% of our vehicle imports at the moment. And that has been tremendous from 2022. In the case of renewable energy penetration, particularly solar PV, again, from 2022 to now, the curve is very steep. We have moved from 1.1 megawatts of solar PV back then to now 6.4 megawatts in 2024. And the numbers at the end of 2025 would even show a greater penetration. So as a result of that, 10% of our electricity, our installed capacity for generation, is solar PV. And as part of the peak demand, approximately 20% of our peak demand comes from our renewable energy installations.
So what opportunities do you see right now based on all these great things going on under your guidance in Grenada? What opportunities do you see for young people?
So there are a number of
Men and
opportunities
women.
for young people, including females. So now we have new skills and new jobs that have been created for installers, for inspectors, for commissioners, for teachers, trainers. We have all these new line of skills that are now being developed. Even the Internet of Things and AI integration into renewable energy and cooling. So these are some new skills that are emerging. There's also the business opportunity. Because these markets are young and immature, it means that it is available for almost anybody to enter now and set up business and take advantage of being an early runner, an early facilitator of that. And so there are also opportunities for people within the legal fraternity, because we are now developing all of these policies and programs that they can benefit from. So our policy people can also benefit. So there's a wide range of opportunities, but the private sector is key and central to all of that. They are the ones who have the money, who can make the investments. They are the ones who can bring in the vehicles. They are the ones that can bring in the PV, that can install, that can operate as ESCOs, that can provide cooling as a service. And so there are huge opportunities for them, including young people and women in the sector.
Right. So looking ahead, what does success look like in Grenada?
So success for us would be achieving our renewable energy targets by 2035, which is to have 100% electricity generation from renewable energies by 2035. And from all of the initiatives that we are currently pursuing, we're well on track to achieve that. Notwithstanding, there's going to be increased demand for power from developments that are happening, from EV. I'm not going to say AI because we don't have any data centers in Grenada, not yet. But we anticipate that there's going to be an increase for power. New air conditioners are being installed, and I mentioned EVs. But the renewable energy projections that we have, including geothermal as baseload, solar PV, floating solar is part of the mix, wave energy, and maybe wind too, because we want to do some feasibility studies for wind. We believe all of that, coupled with storage and an upgrade and modernization of the grid would allow us to achieve that by 2035. So that's the projection that we have for our renewable energy landscape in Grenada.
All right. Well, when are we going to come to Grenada to do some training?
Well, training, as I mentioned, is one of the priority areas for us in Grenada.
So when are we coming?
We have already started that conversation, and we're hoping that by the end of the first quarter of this year, 2026, GSI would be in Grenada to enhance the capacity of our workforce and to see how we can make a contribution towards accelerating renewable energy penetration.
I'm writing that down. End of the first quarter, 2026.
That's the target we have.
All right. Thank you very much for the conversation, and enjoy the rest of the conference here. We have the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week coming up, so I look forward towards hearing what you have to say there.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I want to wish GSI all the best for 2026.
All right. Thank you. You too.